Hey everybody, it's Tyler with Tyler Talks Travel Trailers, and today I got a nice little trailer for you. We're going to be doing a 2024 Catalina 192 FQS Expedition. So I've shown a lot of Catalinas. This is kind of like an upgraded one, a little beefier. It has like an off-road package as well as it being fiberglass on the outside. This is a really nice comparable trailer, you know, like those E-Pros that I was showing you. Very comparable. There are some differences, but like always, we're going to do the specs first. It takes me 1 minute to do those specs, and then we'll dive inside. Let's go, guys. The basic specs on this 2024 Coachman Catalina 19 FQS. The length is 21 feet 8 inches. The width is 7 feet 6 inches. The exterior height is 10 feet 4 inches, including the AC. Unloaded vehicle weight is 4,151 pounds. Your cargo carrying capacity is 1,691 pounds, which brings your fully loaded weight to 5,842 pounds. Your tanks. Your freshwater tank is 44 gallons, your gray water tank is 30 gallons, your black water tank is 30 gallons, and your awning size is 13 feet. Let's jump inside. Cool, guys, so let's jump into this one. It's a little different than the other Catalinas. As you can see, you're going to be moving up to fiberglass, and there's a lot of other great things that this trailer offers that some of the other Catalinas like your Summit series don't give you. So this is obviously a couples coach. Let's go inside and check this thing out. Really great floor plan. A lot of you know I love E-Pros, Flagstaff E-Pros, and I would say this is definitely one of the similarities, one of the similar floor plans that Catalina makes. So nice open floor plan, not super long. I think I said right around 21 feet. And it's also 7 feet 6 inches wide, so a little narrower than your standard 8-foot box. Right here to the right, this is your slide out. So this, you'll always know because it has the wood framing around it. So that'll come in. I won't need to do travel mode for you because as you can see, it's that wide. And when it comes in, it'll be right about there. So what travel mode is when it's really important when you go look at trailers. This is something you kind of want to pay attention to. When you're going down the road, you really want to hopefully be able to access the bathroom. For some people, it's not a big deal, but sometimes when that slide is in, you can't really get around it, around the slide or through the slide. So you have to put the slide out a little bit, or you can't get to the fridge. So if you stop off to get groceries, imagine how easy this is going to be if you're going down the road. So this is a really great travel mode trailer if you're someone that's going to go really long distances and you know you're going to have to stop at the grocery store and grab some food. Your fridge is right here by the door, so really easy to come in here and stock it up, as well as the kitchen area is really close, so if you wanted to make a sandwich you can do all that. So some trailers you can't if the slide is kind of it closes in too much and then you have to put it out. So just something to consider. This does have the separate freezer as well. This particular floor plan, this Catalina has a gas electric fridge. A lot of people like to have both options, gas and electric. So it'll run off of the propane, the tank in the front of the trailer. And then down there's just your fuse box. And to the left or to the right when you're actually walking into the trailer, this is your control panel. So you got all of your readings right here. You could see your battery. You could see your gray tank, black tank, fresh water. Obviously that's all empty. And then you do have your lights, your awning. Your awning's electric, and then so is your slide. So just push a button. Everything will do its thing, including the water heater. So you don't need to light it. It'll do it itself once you hit that button. You got JBL speakers, they're Bluetooth. You got indoor and outdoor speakers, so really fun. They don't do CD players anymore in these. They're always like Bluetooth. Some companies literally only do Bluetooth and they don't give you a radio. So if that's important to you, keep an eye out for that if you want a radio. Sometimes it's just the speakers that are Bluetooth. So as you can see, this counter space is amazing. Look at that. So much counter space. And to the right, you got your sink. So in my opinion, the only thing I do not really like about this particular floor plan is they could have put a bigger sink, you know, one of the farm style sinks, but it is big enough to still put a plate. So if you're someone, I always say this, it's a give and take with travel trailers. You gain one thing but lose another. So if you prefer more counter space versus a bigger sink, this is perfect. It just depends on what the customer needs and what they particularly like in their kitchen. So it's kind of hard for me to decide if I'd want more counter space or if I'd want a bigger sink. The counter space, I think, is probably the route I would go. I might sacrifice a bigger sink to have all of that prep space, you know, so when you're in the kitchen cooking, you got plenty of room. You got storage up here. Yeah, this is a really nice floor plan. You get more counter space on this thing than an E Pro. You got, and I think you get more cabinet space too. And then you got your microwave, pretty standard. You got your fan and light, and then a 2-top burner. When you're out looking around, definitely keep an eye out for trailers. The stove, you might not notice it. Sometimes they're different. See how this one's flush with the countertop? That's what I'd want. That would be like a thing that I want on my list, because they make some stoves where it's raised off this little off the counter, and I've heard of people cooking and then, you know, their pan or pot slips off and falls, and I just feel like that would suck to drop a hot pan or pot on your foot. So keep an eye out for that. I think that's pretty important, that it's flush and you're not going to have any issues of dropping your food on the floor. It's got the fancy lights. It's got the igniter, so you don't need to light it with a match or a lighter. You got some more storage right down here. That's a big one. Yeah, the storage on this is definitely better than the E Pro. And then you got a big one right here underneath the sink. Storage is great. Get your plumbing nice and easy. You got the one window right here in the kitchen, and that will open. There's another light I need to turn on. There we go. Now you can see. What do you guys think of the kitchen? The counter space is amazing, and the cabinet space. I think that looks good, and you're definitely going to have enough place to put your pots and pans. I do see, though, there really isn't a utensil drawer now that I'm looking at it. So you'd probably have to use one of these up here and just put one of those utensil organizers in here. So that's different. I guess that's one thing they didn't put, is some drawers. But you do have a ton of storage. I'm sure you can make it work with certain organizers and some bins and stuff. To the left of me, you got a couch. This does not recline, but it does turn into a bed. And then you have like the nice cup holders right here, so you can kick back. I always tell people, if you are going to have maybe a grandkid go maybe once a year, this is the way to go. So you can still accommodate them, you know, this will fold flat. You could still accommodate them without wasting space. So a lot of people, I'll have them come in and they'll say they want bunks, and they're saying like, maybe my grandson will come twice a year or so, and then they end up buying a trailer with bunk houses, and literally a year later they're back in here trading it in. So I always tell people, it's selfish, but think about yourselves first and make sure the trailer's going to work majority of the time, not occasionally. So in this instance, this will be great if you are someone that will have someone go with you once in a great while. I'm going to lay on this so you can see the height of it. The length, I mean. So this, I'm 5'7", so that fits good. I'm like right on the edge right here, but not everyone sleeps like a plank. You know, you might curl up a little. Like, this is not bad. I could live with that. And if someone's coming along, beggars can't be choosers. So then you just roll it back. There is no storage right here. I wonder if it's down here. Doesn't look like there's storage under there either. But really nice way to accommodate some guests if you have the occasional one once in a while. You got some more storage up above. Let me fix my camera. There we go. So you got these. Really deep. I can't hold it open and show you, but that's a pretty deep cabinet. And then you got another one over here. You got one window on this side, and as you can see, you got the accordion shades. And then this window will just open sideways. So pretty decent sized window, let in some fresh air. So looking this way, this is obviously the queen bed. It is an RV queen, so it will be 6 inches shorter than a standard queen. So a lot of people don't know that, so keep an eye out if you want a real full-size queen, because you'll have people buying a trailer and then they want to put, you know, their own mattress in it, and it's a queen, but they go to try to put it in and it doesn't fit, and it's because there's RV queens and RV kings that are going to be 6 inches shorter. So if you want to have a standard queen, just keep an eye on that, so that way you know if you want to put another mattress in there. These are big. Huge cabinet space up here. I guess this would serve more as like your wardrobe. So let's see, not bad. Yeah, that's long. It's past my elbow. So good size area to put some clothes. You are a little limited because there's no place to kind of hang them. There's no wardrobe, but those are plenty big if you just fold your clothes. Then if you notice, it's got the nice front windshield. So I always say this, do not stress about like a rock flying up and hitting it and cracking it. I've maybe seen it once in my 7 years, but if you are concerned, they make aftermarket covers for them. I don't know the price, I don't know the brand, but they are out there. So if you have the opportunity to get a windshield, definitely get it. It just makes it feel a little better in here. You got a nice view to look out. You got one reading light up there. You have plugs, standard plug here, and then you have USB and USB-C. So you got one there, and then on this side, it's just your USB and USB-C. So you know how the new iPhones, they changed the charger again, so you will be able to charge the newer iPhones on this. Down on your headboard, you got a nice little place right here to put remotes, books, things like that. And then a window on both sides. That looks like that's going to be your emergency exit. So that's what, in case something happens and you need to jump out a window. Down here, you have another plug. So that's great. If you're someone that has a CPAP machine, or I get a lot of customers that use CPAP machines and they always need a plug next to the bed. I feel like that's a perfect spot maybe, because you could put it right up there maybe. I don't know though, because then you'd have to face your head this way. I mean, there are plugs, so you can figure out a way to put your CPAP machine near you. That way you can get a good night's sleep. Little storage area right here, and it goes all the way across. That's different. You can't lift this though. Huh. Yeah, you can't lift that, so you have to reach for the back area of it. But that is a decent amount of storage right there. All right. So great little floor plan. I did notice there is no TV, but the backer board is right here. So this is where you would hang it. And then you got your plugs. That is kind of in a different location. So I get different kinds of customers. Some say, I don't want a TV. I don't watch TV when I go camping. So if you're someone that doesn't want a TV, this might be a great choice for you, because you get an extra cabinet right here. So you get more storage in the place of where the TV would go. So like I said, always give and take with these things. If you do like the TV, it's going to be kind of awkward because I'm sitting on the edge of the couch, and you'd have to have something that swivels pretty drastically to see it over here. You would see it from the bed, no problem. So I would say that if you're someone that does want a TV, very easy to see. This one won't work with the couch that well. But if you're someone that doesn't like to watch TV or doesn't want one, this is perfect because they added an extra cabinet for you. There's another light right here. There we go. I was wondering why it was so dark in here. Missed half the lights. I do like how many plugs there are in this thing. There is a ton of them. So you got one here, by the entryway. You got one right here, so you got plenty for your Keurig, coffee pot, things like that. Some trailers, I'll tell you, they skimp out on plugs, and you won't notice that until you're actually out using it and you're like, dang it, I should have paid attention to that. So definitely keep an eye on that. You got another plug there, you got one over there, and then I love that they put one right next to the couch. You would be surprised how many trailers I've seen that don't put a plug by the couch. It's super weird. So I would say this has quite a bit of plugs. That's great. We'll come over here to the bathroom. Bam. So plenty of floor space for sure to get out and dry off. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna check the wiping room. We're gonna sit on that toilet. I tell everyone to do that when they're out looking for trailers, because you'll be annoyed if you go to use your bathroom after you bought one and it's super uncomfortable because you don't fit on the toilet. So I can tell, we'll see, let's check this out. Sorry if I'm moving a lot, guys. So right here, I got enough knee space. That's not bad. I've seen there's a couple Flagstaffs where my knee was literally touching the door. So this one isn't the worst I've seen at all, by far. The only thing I would say is maybe the shoulder. Like if you're broad-shouldered, sorry, I'm sweating. The wall right here is pretty close. It's not bad on this side. So just something to consider. It is not the worst I've seen. It's not the best either. So it wouldn't bother me at all. So like I'm saying it again, so it's always a give and take. So this allows you, this being closer to the wall allows you to have way more floor space. In some trailers, they don't put the toilet closer to the wall and then you can't get out and dry off. So me personally, I'd rather have more floor space to get it out and dry off, or come in here and change and brush my teeth, things like that. I think that is something I would want, is kind of, I'd rather have this situation versus not having any floor space to dry off and get ready. Because look at this, I'm standing in here and I still have all of that floor space right there. So that's really good. You got a cabinet down here, easy access to your plumbing, good size sink. Counter space isn't the greatest, but you know, the sink is bigger on this one. So if they would have done like a smaller sink, so that's something, if that's important to you, if you're someone that brings like a lot of, you know, hair dryer, straightener and things like that, there isn't really much place to put them. But if you're someone that wants a bigger sink, you know, clean your face off, clean your hands, this one is much bigger than what I've seen. So good size sink. You got a plug right there, a mirror. There isn't a lot of cabinet. There's no cabinet space really on this one. You just have the one underneath the sink. But it allows you to have a good size shower, that's for sure. So if I stand in it, sorry guys, I'm sweating a lot, but let me show you how much room I got. So head space is amazing. That's not a problem at all. And like I can get around pretty nicely. And then the floor space. This is a corner shower. It allows you to kind of rinse off a little easier. So it's not bad. You just got to be careful not letting too much water fall out of the shower pan. This does have a really cool feature. So this has a shower miser. So see this little thing right here? What this does is, usually in trailers, you go to turn your water on and you're sitting there waiting for it to get hot, and then it takes a little while. And what sucks is that all that water you're wasting and it's going into your gray tank. With this system, all you have to do is flip this over and it'll circulate the water through the lines and it'll change the color. Then you know it's hot, then you flip it back over and then it'll spit the water out. So this is a great trailer for dry camping. If you're someone that likes to dry camp, for one, it has a lot of features for dry camping and boondocking that I'm getting into, but this is definitely one for sure. Water goes quick, and it's good to have something to help you conserve it. So overall, I like the floor space in this. There is Not very much cabinet space. That's not too big of a deal for me personally, because you still have some good cabinets out here as well that you can utilize. So what do you guys think? We're gonna go outside real quick. This thing has some really great features on the outside, so stick around because it's not like your standard Catalina. So as you know, let's see, it has a screen door, pretty standard. Let some fresh air in here. Oh yeah, and if you're someone that's looking, like if you're out looking around and maybe you have a sales guy that just started, they don't know what they're doing. If you're looking for the dry weight and the cargo carrying capacity, it will always be on the door or it'll be on the tongue of the trailer. And the yellow one is usually your cargo carrying capacity. So as you can see, this one has 1,648 pounds of cargo. And then your dry weight is 4,100 pounds. And it'll even show you the total length right there. So that's from tip to the bumper in the back. So if you're someone looking around, that's just an easy way to figure it out if the sales guy doesn't know. Don't always go off of this number. It doesn't make sense sometimes. Just go off of what that tag says. Also, if you go to look at trailers online, like the actual manufacturer website, you'll notice that the weight could be different than the trailer that you're looking at in person. So this is going to be the true weight, you know, because it's actually built, it's here, and that's the tag you want to go off of. The manufacturer website kind of just gives you an idea of what the weight will be, but it's not drastic. It'll still be close. Also, just because I get people that are like, that trailer's heavy, you don't have to max this thing out. Like, no one is, that's a lot of weight. 1,600 pounds of cargo is insane. You'd be bringing your whole bench and weight set with you. On average, even in big trailers, the average person will put in 800 pounds of cargo. So I always go off of dry weight, me personally, and then factor in some stuff. But I go off dry weight. Also, a little tip for you, when you're looking at the cargo carrying capacity, that is factored as if every single tank is filled, and you can't do that. So it's skewed a little. You can't have a gray tank and a fresh tank filled. You know, that doesn't make sense. So that's if your fresh and gray and black are filled. So you're never gonna hit that number. You won't, unless you added the extra weight, but just some little tips for you. So as we come to the front, you got your electric tongue jack, which is nice, makes it real easy to hitch up versus the manual. You got a bike rack, so this will hold 2 bikes. It won't hold like those e-bikes, those get pretty heavy, but you do have a rack in the back that I'm gonna show you that will accommodate you. I know those are popular. You got dual propane tanks. You got a battery disconnect, so whenever you go to store this thing, makes it super simple. Just turn that and it'll turn your batteries off and disconnect them. As you can see, you're going to be moving from fiberglass to the metal siding. There's pros and cons to both. So one pro about these ones is that when you need to fix the sidewall, you could take an individual panel off. Whereas if you damage the fiberglass, you literally have to repair the entire wall or a large portion of it. So it's easier to fix these if you kind of dent it or something. I will say though that hail damage is prone to these. You know, I don't see it a lot, but the hail will damage this metal-sided one faster than this. It won't even do nothing to this. I mean, I guess it could, but just a couple tips there for you. I'm gonna make a video on aluminum frame, wood frame, fiberglass versus metal siding. I'm gonna go into all of that a little more in depth. So you got some nice pass-through storage right here. This does have a 1,000-watt inverter right there, so that's super nice. It also has a 200-watt solar panel, and they prepped it so you can add 2 additional 200-watt solar panels. So you can put 600 watts of solar on this thing, which is amazing. They don't even do that on the E-Pros. So basically what that's gonna do is trickle charge your batteries, keep things going. You could even have some plugs that are hot that are tied into the inverter. So there's a lot of opportunity to, you know, boost this thing up, beef it up a little bit. but really cool that they prepped it for two. As you can see, great storage. It does have a table that comes with it, so it's in that box. It's nothing fancy, but it's a table you could put in front of your couch because it doesn't have a dinette. It does have a 30 amp solar controller right here as well. It's got the manual cranks, not a big deal. Just get a socket with the same size and use a drill. It's actually faster than the electric ones anyway. As you can see, you got your spare under there, and it's an actual mud tire too, all-terrain tire. I love that. To the back of the trailer, we'll go to the axles. So this is really cool that they're doing this at this price point. So you notice there's no leaf spring. This is a torsion axle. So this thing actually flexes a little more. It's a lot more rigid than your leaf spring axle. And you gotta imagine how much is that gonna help the frame of the trailer. And it supposedly makes the towing way better with this torsion axle. So leaf spring, it's gonna bounce around a little more. Not a big deal. A lot of trailers have leaf spring. As you can see, it's got the all-terrain tire right there, and it's a Westlake tire, so good quality tire right off the lot. So love that. We'll come back here. You can see the solid steps right here. I love these steps. They just fold right into the doorway, and then they come down and touch the ground, so you don't need to worry about your steps sagging on you. You got your leash link for the dog. Like I said, a 13-foot awning, and it does have the LED lights underneath. So there's a light strip that goes all the way across. It's really bright too. You got an outdoor speaker, JBL, like I said, and then you have one cable plug right here. So as we come around to the back, you got a rack. How cool is that? Already comes with it. See, it's only the Expeditions that get this. So what I love about this is you could carry your generator on the back. It will hold 200 pounds, so you can't get too crazy with it. And then this, as you can see, this one already includes the ladder on the Expedition, whereas on the other ones, you have to buy that separately. Both are walk-on roofs, so don't worry, you can walk on the roof. It's a good idea to get on your roof and inspect it occasionally, make sure everything's all good with it. Here's where your plug is. And then you got an outdoor shower. Hot and cold water, obviously. And then there's your drains. It's hard to tell, but they are sitting up a lot higher than your standard Catalina. What's great about this is they actually gave you a 3-inch lift on this trailer. So that's amazing. You won't have to worry about dragging anything. So, yeah, and it's an actual lift kit because it has torsion axles. So that's an actual kit you have to buy. It's not like leaf spring where you could just flip the axles. This is an actual lift kit, which costs money. So I love that they put that on this at this price point. There's your slide out. Not super big, but just enough to give you some room. That way when you're going camping, you're not driving each other crazy, feeling claustrophobic. And it will also keep the weight down a little bit. You got a 6-gallon water heater. This is your potable water right here. So when you're dry camping, that's where you'll fill it up. Overall, great trailer. Let's see, I do want to point out that this fiberglass is actually rated as an R7 fiberglass insulation throughout the entire coach. So a little better. Oh yeah, you know one thing I really love about this one is actually, let's check out the tanks. You won't really be able to see it down here, but your tanks, they're actually rotocast holding tanks. So what that means is they actually made a cast of this, and that's how they made the tanks. So you're probably like, well, who cares? Well, usually they'll like screw them together, or they'll have like a seam in it. So you got to imagine over time, if you already have a seam in your tank, definitely potential of leaks. This is just one big piece for your tanks, which is awesome that they do that. Let's see. This is, not all of the Catalinas are like this, but this actually has a huck bolt frame. So it's actually put together with huck bolts, and that's supposedly a lot better than the welding, which really helps with the rust and things like that. and it also has a powder coated chassis. So they have literally no warranty claims on their trailers at Catalina because of that huck bolt frame and the powder coated chassis. It also is a little more rigid when you're going down the road with that huck bolt frame. It's definitely going to help a lot with the frame of the trailer when you're on like rough roads or anything like that. So not only do you have the torsion axle, you also have a huck bolt frame, which is more rigid. So you have protection from the axles as well as the frame itself, you know, over time. Because you got to imagine when you're going down a road, there's flexing in that. And that huck bolt frame is definitely going to help that a lot. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that tour. I could have gone on forever. There's so much different construction features that I love about this Expedition. So definitely stick around, watch some of my other videos. I kind of pepper in construction aspects of trailers, but if I do it all at once, this video will be like an hour and a half long, and I know you guys don't want to sit through that. So I kind of like to point out some of the sweet spots and then change it up throughout the videos that I do. So if you're new to the channel, I do a new tour every single day. So definitely stick around, and like always, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.